Hey guys, in today's video I will be doing another tropical update, and today's video I will mainly be focusing on beta, but in the beginning of this video I'll just quickly go over everything that's going on in the tropics currently. Of course we have, other than beta, we have Hurricane Teddy, which is still a major hurricane at 120 miles per hour as of the new 11 a.m. advisory, which just came out. Pressure is now up to 958 millibars, and it's moving to the northwest at 14 miles per hour. Now, the new cone for Teddy has it continuing to the northwest until about early morning Sunday, and then during Sunday it will start to curve more towards directly north and brush Bermuda with some tropical storm conditions. And then as it continues to head directly north, it will then get sped up a ton because of some precipitation from whatever's left of that cold front, and then hit Nova Scotia and start to dissipate. Now, we'll have to see. There's still somewhat of an outside chance that it may impact New England, especially eastern New England, especially such as Maine, but that seems to be less and less likely, so it seems to be more of just hitting Atlantic Canada. Now, we also have Tropical Storm Wilfred, which is a weak tropical storm currently. It's only at 40 miles per hour, 1,007 millibars, moving to the west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. And as you can see, it's not expected to last all that much longer. It will likely dissipate as we head towards Monday. And I do not expect this to strengthen whatsoever anymore. So there's Wilfred. So there's that. And then these other two disturbances, the second disturbance that's coming off Africa doesn't look like it will likely become much of anything. And but then this other disturbance up in the northern Atlantic is currently moving pretty much directly south and has a medium chance of development. This is actually the remnants of Paulette. This is post-tropical cyclone Paulette, but it's really more of just the remnants of Paulette. And over the next 2 to 5 days, it has a 40 to 50% chance of development. And if we look at the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook, you can see it will generally continue head towards the south and southeast. And in this area, it will be able to potentially acquire, once again, subtropical or maybe even fully tropical characteristics, because it will be moving back into an area of decently warm enough sea surface temperatures that it could, those temperatures could sustain the system enough to be able to bring it back from the dead and bring it back from the quote-unquote dead and bring it back to a tropical system. So Paulette may be able to have a comeback for a bit again, which will be very, very interesting to see. All right, now here is Beta. Beta, as of the 11 a.m. advisory, is still at 60 miles per hour. Pressure is down to 994 millibars, and it's moving to the northwest now, so it's starting to take its more directly west turn, and it's only moving, though, at 3 miles per hour, so it's a very slow mover. We have yet another slow mover in the Gulf. So that's not good whatsoever. Here's the cone forecast for Beta, and you can see it will continue to be a tropical storm up until it gets to around most likely Monday. We start to get towards later Sunday into very early Monday. It will become a hurricane, and then we'll start to curve more right along, where it's skirting right along the Texas coastline, curve more to where it's moving directly to the northeast. And then you see has it weakening back to a tropical storm, and then as it continues to the northeast, make landfall in southwestern Louisiana or around the border of Texas, Louisiana, and head into Louisiana, and then start to dissipate from then onward after next Thursday, it seems. Now, of course, this system is a very slow mover in the Gulf of Mexico, and especially where it is in the western Gulf of Mexico, the sea surface temperatures are above average and very warm. So it would not surprise me if Beta does become a little stronger than a Category 1, maybe even peak at a Category 2, because, well, we saw that exactly happen with Laura and Sally now. So prepare, especially for people living along the Texas coastline and even the western central portions of the Louisiana coastline. Please prepare as if the system will be a bit stronger than you anticipate. All right, Alright, so there's a look at really what the tropics are looking like right now, and what the National Hurricane Center is monitoring. Alright, now let's go to tropical tidbits, and we'll really mainly focus now on um, beta. So here's the satellite imagery for beta. It's not looking the best, to say the least, about the system. It's really not looking all that great. All the um, all the convection is displaced, especially towards the east of the system. There is a big blowup of convection that has recently blown up around the center, so that's interesting. We'll have to see what the system will do as it starts to head more directly west towards the Texas coastline, because at that point, then it maybe could get its act better together and become a bit stronger. So we'll really have to keep an eye on that. And here is the current model intensity guidance for beta. You can see it's about a mid-range to maybe slightly strong tropical storm. And a majority of the models, well, actually, with this one, it's interesting. With a lot of the models, actually, it's keeping it at around the same intensity it is now, or dropping off. But there are some that do have it strengthening a bit, and a few take it into Category 1 status. I gotta say, I don't think the models have a really good handle whatsoever on beta, especially for its intensity guidance, because just honestly, I think of how slow it's moving, and just the huge uncertainty of where it will really potentially make landfall. That's a big problem. We're really gonna have to just wait and see what beta will do. Alright, so now let's look at what the models are showing for beta. I'll zoom in here to the zoom into the south central US. No. Yeah, I'll do the south central US. Yeah, no, we'll do that. Alright, so we're showing you the GFS model. This is the 60 run of the GFS model. There's beta, and let me zoom this in for you guys so you can see beta a little better. And as we move this forward in time, there we go. That is weird. Why is it taking so long to okay. I don't know, it was like lagging or something. It was very strange. Alright, so you can see beta will now start to make its direct westward movement, and start to try and intensify a bit, actually, or maybe stay around the same intensity as it's going right along the Texas border. And then the GFS kind of has it weakening and then just going back into Texas, kind of just having a very weird track. So that's very interesting. It does show, the GFS does show it bring lots of heavy rain to Texas and Louisiana, and in fact, rainfall totals could be somewhere around a foot of rainfall in some places. And in fact, actually, one other thing that I forgot to show you guys, but we'll do that real quick right now. The surge forecast for beta has it being around 1 to 3 to 2 to 4 feet, especially 2 to 4 feet there, along the central parts of the Texas coastline, central and northern parts of the Texas coastline, and maybe towards the very western portions of the Louisiana coastline, and then 1 to 3 feet for the southern Texas coastline, and 1 to 3 feet for the central and southeastern coastlines of Louisiana, and even portions of the Mississippi coastline as well could see 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, which is very interesting. And this also includes New Orleans, so New Orleans could even see some storm surge impacts from beta, which is very, very interesting. Alright, now let's show you what the European model is showing for beta. Let's switch it to vorticity. You have to let this load in. There we go. Alright, so there's beta right there. And as we move this farther out in time, you can see the European model has beta's vorticity really winding up very well and very tightly, getting it pretty strong, and then moving it to moving it back towards the northeast and into Louisiana, and then dissipating. And that seems to be, the European model really has a good handle on where beta will go, because it pretty much lines up exactly with what the current forecast from the National Hurricane Center shows. So that's a very good thing. Alright, now here's the CMC model, and not sure why the CMC model is taking so long to load in, But alright, so there's a CMC model, shows very, very large tight vorticity with beta as it continues to the west towards the Texas coastline, and then rides right up along the Texas coastline and then up in towards Louisiana and kind of falling apart from there and dissipating. So there's what the CMC is showing. I'll show you the GFS para model, the newest kind of thing of what the GFS run is showing. This is like the newest kind of update for the GFS model, and you can see right there's beta. As we head this farther out in time, it goes right up along the Texas coastline, bringing some pretty steady heavy rains towards Texas, and then it shows it kind of falling apart after that point, which is very, very interesting. So there's that. Alright, now in fact I'll show you what the total rainfall as well is being forecast from the GFS model. Let's go to the south central US to show you that. Total accumulated precipitation. Bring this farther out in time, and you can see it just really builds up, especially just because beta will be riding along the Texas and Louisiana coastline and moving very slowly, and because of that it will be sticking around those areas for I think probably around like 2 to 3 days, it seems. So there's the total rainfall. You can see if you're in the greens, you're anywhere under about half an inch. If you're in the blues, you're anywhere from half an inch to 2 inches. If you're in the purples, you're from 2 inches to 6 inches. Especially if you're in darker purples, that's more 4 to 6 inches. And then if you're getting in towards the yellow and golds, you're getting towards especially the darker purples actually is getting towards like 6 inches to 9 inches, and then getting closer towards those yellows. Yellow shades, that's 9 inches to even 12 inches. So you can see, especially for the southwestern parts of Louisiana, could see as high as maybe 10 to 14 inches of rainfall. Texas, the coastal Texas from around Corpus Christi through the Texas-Louisiana border, just south of Houston, but including Galveston as well, they could see total rainfall totals of potentially anywhere from 5 to 9, 10 inches of rainfall. So definitely huge flooding concerns for coastal Texas, and really all of Louisiana could see very heavy rainfall. So a majority of Louisiana could see the potential for maybe excessive flooding and potential for a lot of flooding, which they really don't need because they saw extreme amounts of flooding and damage from Laura, and even towards Mississippi and southeastern Louisiana, they saw very, very damaging rainfall and surge from Sally, so that's also something they really don't need as well. So that's a big, big problem. Now the CMC model is showing rainfall totals a little bit more vigorous, in fact, actually, for Texas coastline, not so much the Louisiana coastline, but again, for the Texas coastline from Corpus Christi through the border of Texas, Louisiana, they can see rainfall totals ranging from 3 to even as high as 14, 16 inches. And Houston, in fact, there's Houston right there within the yellows, could see as high as around a foot of rainfall. And then Louisiana's total rainfall could be as high as up towards 9, 10 inches of rainfall. So again, still the potential for very excessive amount of flooding, very strong signal for lots of flooding for those areas. So people living in those areas, please monitor beta very closely, because it could be a huge flooding problem for many of those areas, especially for the Houston-Galveston area, Corpus Christi, the Lake Charles area, Cameron, Louisiana, and southwestern Louisiana, where Laura made landfall. So all of you guys living in those areas, please monitor beta very closely, because you will likely see flooding and have lots of roads be flooded over, especially since there's also the added threat of some storm surge with that very high amount of rainfall that's forecast. So that's a big, big problem. All right, now Now we'll go to the analysis tools and look at what the sea surface temperatures are looking like for the Atlantic currently. And of course, the entire Atlantic basin is very, very warm. And pretty much the entire Atlantic basin for where tropical activity forms, the MDR, the Gulf, the Caribbean, the subtropics near Florida, Bahamas, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and even in portions like far off the East Coast, the temperatures generally are around 80 degrees Fahrenheit or higher above that, especially in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, and even portions of the subtropics and western MDR, where temperatures are ranging from the mid-80s up towards around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe some low 90s, in fact, in some parts of the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean. So again, beta is in the western Gulf of Mexico, and you can see temperatures there are around 29, 30 degrees Celsius. Those in Fahrenheit, that's temperatures in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's ample fuel for beta to feed off of to become stronger. So that's a big, big problem there. All right, and of course we're in a La Nina now, and La Nina did form earlier this month, getting in towards very end of August into early September, and La Nina will stick around with us through the rest of fall, through winter, and as of right now, likely will be around with us up until next spring. But as you can see, it will continue to get colder and colder. Currently, the 3.4 ENSO region, which is the ENSO region that we do look for to see what ENSO phase we are in, whether it's El Nino, neutral, or La Nina. We're clearly definitely in a La Nina, where it is now at negative 0.801 degrees Celsius. So that is that's definitely very well within La Nina territory. So that's a big factor at play into why this hurricane season honestly has been as active as it is, and especially now with the La Nina officially occurring. All right, now the Wikipedia page for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. We have had truly record amounts of activity. We are now officially the second most active Atlantic hurricane season on record, with a total of 24 depressions, 23 total storms, 8 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. Total fatalities so far this season is a total of 133. Total damage is around $22.235 billion. So it's been a fairly damaging season, in fact. And of course, there's nowhere near how damaging 2005 was at this point, or in total 2005 was by the end, or especially how damaging 2017 was by the end. So that's a big. That's a kind of an upside to that, but still, it's been a fairly damaging season. And that's mainly, of course, due to especially Laura, Isaias, Sally. Those are really the 3 main storms that really cause the most amount of damage to really make that total as high as it is. So again, of course, we have Teddy active, we have Beta active, Alpha lasted a day and now it's dissipated, though it became a pretty strong subtropical storm, in fact, for where it formed, so that's very interesting. Wilfred is also active. So again, we have 3 active systems now. We are well into the Greek alphabet, honestly. We've already gone through 2 names in the Greek alphabet. Next name on the list is Gamma for the Greek alphabet. So we're definitely going to be 2005. I'm saying that right now. We're definitely being 2005. We only need another 4 named storms to get us to a total of, well, actually, with the fact that it's, no, I actually slightly miscalculated that. We have a total of 23 storms. If we have another 4 Greek alphabet names, we'll have a total of 27 named storms. We'll need actually more 7 or 8 Greek alphabet named storms at the least to secure that we tie 2005 or beat it. So that's very interesting. So we're definitely going to have to get past Zeta to be 2005, and I think we could actually see, with the way the Atlantic is currently, and likely will stay that way for quite a while before it really starts to die down, I think we will see 9 to 11 Greek alphabet name storms in the end, somewhere around that range. So I do think it is very likely that we'd be 2005 anyway in the end. But that is it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Please consider liking the video, commenting on the video if you're a first-time viewer and you enjoyed what you saw in today's video. If you like tropical-related content, I do tons of that on my channel, so please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.